We are in a place called Taddyford Gap.
Taddyford Gap.
It's a bit of a walk down to the actual sea. I'm just going to scratch about and see what I can get. So before we get started, it's a case of loading myself up like a camel and then doing the, I wouldn't say it's that far, I'd say it's about the length of a football pitch. It's a byway between two fields, and yeah, it's kind of a narrow path, and you've got bushes, trees and shrubs sort of leaning in, so it's a good idea to kind of condense your stuff down, which I'm not very good at. I'll show you what I'm bringing. So I've got a spare hoodie, and that's fleece lined because tonight it's going to be cold. I've got the bottom part of the IMAX suit. That is going to be absolutely essential. Temperatures are meant to be dropping this weekend. I've got a fishing chair. I've got a tackle bag. Currently weighs in at 15 kg and it's not even full yet. I've also got 2 beach casting rods, 13 foot long, 2 reels and a little telescopic rod so I can have a little spin while the main rods are out. The tripod's in there as well. I've got a mixture of tackle and mixture of baits. I've also got this bag which is full with spare clothes, spare socks. Normally putting fish back, I tend to get wet feet, so I've got 4 pairs of socks in there, another hat which is a sort of a bigger hat. It sort of comes down a little bit so I can put my hood up and do the front up to keep the wind off of my face really. Like I say, just a few more clothes and 6 bottles of water as well as in that bag. And then we've got the Lonsdale bag, which is absolutely brimming with food. I've got everything in here from pop noodles, I've got my Jaffa cakes. I can't go fishing without Jaffa cakes. I've got some cornflakes, and then for dinner, because I'm planning on staying here all day, I went to Lidl and I got some burgers, some halloumi and some rolls so that I can actually have something a bit more substantial than just a pot noodle. I mean, there's loads of other stuff in here as well, but there's too much to go into. And we got a barbecue. I've also got this bag, and in this bag I've got some pocket tissues. You never know when you're going to need them. I've got a windproof lighter, and I've got 3 fully charged power banks, and that is mainly for the phone while I'm filming, and also I vape, so I charge up my electric cigarettes with it. I've also got this tent, which is a pop-up tent, and that's my waterproof tent, kind of waterproof tent. I do have a selection of tents and sleeping bags. These are the options. I'm probably not going to be sleeping there. It's just if the wind is howling, it would be quite nice to get out of the wind and just set up a little tent. I probably won't be bringing this one. Now I'm looking at all my stuff. I'll probably be taking the 2-person dome tent. This is the extra large tent. It just gives me a little bit more headroom so I can actually sit in the tent and look at the rod tips. We just got to navigate our way down here. It's not too difficult. I might do 2 trips. Sod it, let's do 1 trip. So I'm about halfway down now, and I can't figure out how to get down there. This is the usual way. The usual way people do actually get down this cliff face, but it's obviously been washed away. So that is over 25 feet, that drop. I think we go this way. Funny story, the last time I fished here, I slept on the beach, and I went to bed about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I must have been out for the count because I didn't hear the rain. If I'd heard the rain, I'd have packed up, purely because what I'm standing on is clay, essentially. And what I did is I brought an axe, and there wasn't really much of a way down like today. It was more of a slope than a drop. So I dug out little holes for somewhere to put my feet if I needed to get up in a hurry. Now what I didn't know was that the rain actually washed those away. So I was taking my time packing up. I was like, it's miserable, it's raining, and the tide was coming in. It was a spring tide, and you can kind of tell by where the weed is and where the cliff is actually how high this water comes up. And I ended up getting stuck at the bottom for about 2 hours with no signal on my phone. Eventually I got signal on a phone for help. My wife actually came down to rescue me, and otherwise I'd have been washed out to sea, because it came that close and there was no way up that I could see it. It just took time digging, you know, with your heels to try and mould an area to actually get some leverage to climb back up again. So yeah, I'm still alive. Cheers, wife. But I'm self-taught at absolutely everything I do. So you're gonna make mistakes along the way, and I don't mind that, really. I don't recommend it, but I personally don't mind it. If you're gonna fish somewhere you've not been before, especially somewhere like this in Taddyford, ideally go with someone. I mean, I wouldn't recommend doing this on your own. It's far too dangerous, and yeah, there is a risk to your life. It's quite serious. But today it's not raining, so if we can find a way down this cliff, we'll set up. I'm going to be a little bit sensible now. I can't actually get down the way I was going to get down because it's clay, and water is coming down here out of the clay from all the rain, and it's actually washed the slope away. Now I just took one step in it and I am ankle deep in clay already. There's absolutely no way I'm taking that route to get down there, because I know I'm not going to be able to get back up, especially not in the dark. So I'm going to be a little bit sensible. I know there's a lot of walkers, dog walkers, that come here, and I'm going to see if anyone has an easier route down, while I then search myself for somewhere else to get down. If not, base camp is going to be right there, because that is the hardest part of the clay, and the sea is only there. So I'm going to lose about 20 yards of distance. Is that worth it for my safety? Yes, but we'll see. I'll keep looking. I've got all that to walk along and see if there's a way down. So yeah, wish me luck. Nope, I tried it straight away. There's no way I can get. Wait. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And this is just way too risky. Scratch your head time. There's no way down. People are going to be watching this going, why don't you just throw your gear down and clamber down? Yeah, but I've got to get back up in the dark. It's not somewhere I want to be stranded again. So we're setting up right here. Let's do it. I do realise this isn't the most practical, and it's probably not ideal, but I've just paid £6 for the car park, so there's no way I'm going home now. And that is the most secure tripod I've ever had. The feet are over a foot in the clay. I'm using the Shakespeare 13-foot beach casting rods. Not the dearest, but they do the job. And the reels, they're just an Amazon jobby. I think they were £20. So yeah, I caught a few fish on the reels, so just gonna have a little scratch about this afternoon, this evening and tonight. And fingers crossed, I might get a big old codlin. Codlin? Cod. Small codlin. Get a fish. People are looking at me so odd as they're walking past, and like, why is he sitting up there? It's not where you fish, where are fish? So first cast out, I've got 2 ragworms, just on a a clip down rig, 2-hook clip down rig, and I'm just going to throw that as far as I can get it. The second rod, what we're going to do is we're going to take a whole squid, little baby one, calamari size. What we're going to do is, if you get your thumb or your finger in there, you can kind of feel where the backbone is, and if you separate that just by putting your finger just down the back of it, you can pull the whole backbone out. That's no good. That left in can obviously make the bait spin. And then I'll just take the head and the guts out as well. I don't throw that away. That's bait for a different rig, and then we're left with this. And then what I like to do is take a knife. And you can kind of just peel it, and what that's supposed to do is release more of the scent. The other way you can do is put it on a rock and just give it a bash, and that gets the scent out, gets the juices going. But if you just give it a peel, you can normally get it very, very clean within just a few seconds. And then that is going to get folded. It's going to go over a 4-0 hook, which is on the pulley rig, and I'm going to whip it up with a little bit of bait elastic, which I suppose you could do now. Ideally you'd want like a baiting needle or something, but it shouldn't really matter. Just whip it up, make it look a little bit worm-like, or even just more compact, more appealing really to the fish. Just whip it up a few times. Just put a half hitch in there, crack it off, and that's what we are going to be putting onto the second rod. So on this rod, we've got a pulley rig with a 4-0 hook and a squid bait. And the way this works, for those of you who don't know, is that just makes it streamlined. So it's clipped down into the little imp here. And as it hits the water, say it's going to come in like that. It's not going to drop down from the sky, it's going to come in at an angle. And as it does and it hits the water, that shoots off, releases the bait. And what that does is it just separates it, gives you a long, long trace. That's got to be about 3, 4, 5 foot. And yeah, it just ups your chances really, plus you can get further. Don't forget to loosen up your drag, otherwise your rods are going to end up over at the Isle of Wight. So the next thing to do is to clean these boots and find something I can potentially put underneath my chair, because it is actually sinking in the mud. And this is already getting on my nerves.